8:15, maybe 8:10. If you can, just let me know. Yeah, we could turn the speaker up. What you know about this song?
One of my mom's favorites.
Okay. You know where it come at though? Have you? Yeah. Is that allowed to go? Okay, must be on mine. Let's see, yeah, let's max it out. We're damn near. Be my phone. Oh, I know what it is. Change the setting on my phone. Let's see if that changes something. Shit. Old school UPK video. This will be the song they'll play at the beginning of every video. Yeah. That's why I said, okay, I was seeing if you recognize that, man. I didn't know where this song came from a long time. I was just hearing it on UPK video. No, I don't think so. I think he's still alive. Shabba Ranks. Yeah. Not that I know of. Nah, he's still alive. Right.
A lot of Jamaicans and Trinidadians.
Okay. You say your mom? You say who was that? All right. Let's go ahead and let's get straight into it. Clap it up. Shalom, Israel. We are the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge. Started out on 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana, Preaching Officer 5000, Kasar Pakat. It's a Thursday night scripture breakdown for ISUBK Northern California. Shout out to all the brothers and sisters online. If you have any questions, go ahead and feel free to type them in the chat. All right, I'll go ahead and put that on. All right, if we got any questions in the room, let's go ahead. And if it's
So yeah, everyone. Also, to get a breakdown on the book of Ephesians, chapter 4.
you might have to turn it down. Yeah, I turned it all the way up. That was my. I didn't know my phone was tripping. Slock it for me. Just to walk the walk.
Mm-hmm. That's like, sir. I'm supposed to get a breakdown on the book of Ephesians, chapter 4, verse 7 through 8.
All right. Let me get there with you. Right. All right. Let's go ahead.
It's the book of Ephesians, chapter 4, and verse 7.
Mm-hmm.
But unto every one of us is given grace according to the measure of the gift of Christ.
Right.
Verse 8. Wherefore he saith, when he ascended up on high, He led captivity captive and gave gifts unto men.
Right. Break it down.
It's like it, sir. I couldn't break it down for myself.
We'll take a shot at it.
Come.
Right.
It's like it, sir. To my best of my abilities, I would say that
Mhm.
it's that every single one of us is given grace according to the measure of the gift of Christ. So every one of us is given grace,
Mhm.
but not the same amount of grace. That's what I would simply say in verse 7. So like one
Okay.
person you might perceive one person gaining more grace than another.
Not quite. Let's go up to verse 4.
Come. It's the
Mhm.
book of Ephesians chapter 4 and verse 4. There is one body
Right.
and one spirit,
Uh-huh.
even as ye are called in one hope of your call.
Right. This is a classic, one West precept, one body, showing, there should always be one body of Christ. There's not two bodies. We are in one and in unison, right? The things that we follow all come from the Most High God. There is no division in that. Keep going.
Come.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 5. One Lord, one faith,
Mm-hmm.
one baptism.
Right.
Verse 6. One God
Mm-hmm.
and Father of all, who is above all, and through all, and in you all.
Right. So once again, that's another precept before when last week we were talking about is Christ the Most High. And this is here saying that the Lord is within us, but that's the righteousness that we follow, obeying the law, statutes, and commandments from the sacrifice that we get from our King and learning how to be better brothers and sisters and following the Lord. Right. Right. Verse 7.
Verse 7. But unto every one of us.
But what?
But unto every one of us.
Uh-huh.
Is given grace.
Is given what?
Given grace.
Keep going.
According to the measure of the gift of Christ.
Right. One more time.
Come. Verse 7. But unto every one of us.
Right. To each of us that are in the truth, that are walking in the spirit, that are part of this one body. Keep going.
Come. Is given grace.
Uh-huh.
According to the measure of the gift of Christ.
Right. According to the measure, like what you may have done in the world, you're getting grace according to that. I may have done this. This person may have been a murderer. This person may have been a robber. Someone else may have, just been a swine eater. And like in the law, there's different punishments for each. But we're getting grace according to the different measures, according to what we've done. That makes sense. Like we're getting mercy. And that's the gift of that's the gift of Christ to each of us. Right, keep going.
Verse 8. Wherefore he saith, when he ascended up on high, he led captivity captive and gave gifts unto men.
Right, he led captivity captive. What does that mean? I'll give you that a shot. Yeah, the young man was calling me too. Go ahead. Did you talk to him or did he? Oh, Slack. He needs the address. Slack. Yeah. All right. Go ahead.
Verse 8. Wherefore he saith, when he ascended up on high, he led captivity captive.
Yeah, what does that mean? Led. What is captivity?
Captivity is it's the condition that we're under in another nation.
Okay. In the context of what is being brought about, based on verse 7.
Sir, is that our sin?
Right. So now, what do you think it means again? What does it mean to look? You know what I mean? So, what? Yeah, just in the context of what is being said, literally, captivity, captive. What does that mean?
He's pretty much taking the power of our sin away, or the death.
Right. So, but yeah, let's go back to the captivity. Like, what does that mean? Led captivity, captive. If you understand that, like, it's just a double. Is using it twice. Like, okay. What's another form of captivity in modern day right now?
Slovakia, slave.
Okay, what's another one?
Slovakia.
Where do people?
child support.
Okay, where do people actually go?
Oh, Slovakia prison.
All right. So now use that word instead and led.
Prison to prison.
Yeah. Now, does that help understand it? Like, I bullied the bullies. You understand? Like, what's the other one? I killed the killers. You know what I'm saying? Like, he led captivity captive. He put it in control. Right. He put that asunder. He is in charge of the captivity, and that the captivity that we were in is the sin that we were living in and the punishments that come with that sin, giving us the grace. He put that into check, basically, and holding it forward so that we can be free. So read it again.
Verse 7.
Verse 8.
Verse 8. Wherefore he saith, when he ascended up on high, he led captivity captive and gave gifts unto men.
Right. So that's that second opportunity. That's that freedom where it's like we all deserve death. I think you're saying that at your camp speaking. Like we deserve death for the things that we have done. But we've gotten a second shot, and that's the greatest gift that Christ could give us. And it's something that we shouldn't take lightly. Right. And then remember I was talking about the precept before about the fig tree and how it's like the Lord cares about us following the law so much. He gave his only son's life for it. And now he's giving us grace. If we don't take advantage of that, then it's like F you after that. You know what I'm saying? It's like you really are never going to change. If this didn't move you to become better, then nothing else will. And he's showing his power by letting captivity captive. And also you can also use it in the spirit of us being in slavery. They're going into slavery. We're going to be free. Like us being righteous, gaining the kingdom. The reason why we're in captivity is because we're not following the laws. Us getting free is what's going to convict the Lord to put our captives into captivity. Right. So it's going to be twofold. All right. Anything else on that one?
A lot for the water for the breakdown. Gave me a lot of understanding on that.
Most High in Christ. You got any other questions?
Lot, sir.
All right. Let's go into tonight's topic. I'm gonna give a quick brief introduction into what I'm gonna be going in. I got a lot of notes and a lot of precepts. I'm gonna be better tonight. I'm gonna try to just let the precepts and keep breaking them down as I go along with tonight's topic. A few weeks ago, I went into the Willie Lynch papers. I talked about that, how Esau, his first and foremost, and if you want to grab a table, you can grab a table. Like I said, I think we should start doing that during class, make it easier to take notes and keep up. So we got a question right here. Why does Isaiah 37 and 2 Kings say the same thing? We can go ahead and get that question answered too before we go into tonight's topic. Let's see what the Shalom Yabashim Yashar Brakatha to Trooper Makamya checking in San Jose. All right. Get it, brother. I'm gonna go ahead and pull it up right now. Isaiah 37. What verse in Isaiah 37? As Lando, if you can write what verse are you talking about in Isaiah 37? We might have to go to 2 Kings. Oh, it just says 19 as well. He didn't really get specific, so I'd have to see what verse he's talking about specifically. So, yeah, if you can, go ahead and type that if you're still with us. Type what verses and what is specifically, what question you have about these verses. Start at verse 1 on both. All right, let's go to Isaiah 37 and 1. How far are you trying to go down? And you know, is it just this verse 1 or not? You can be as specific as possible, Baba Shah. Go ahead, we'll see what he's talking about.
It's the book of Isaiah, chapter
Mhm.
37, and verse 1. And it came to pass
Mhm.
when King Hezekiah heard it that he rent his clothes
Mhm.
and covered himself with sackcloth
Mhm.
and went into the house of the Lord.
Right. Let's hold this one and let's see what he got. 2 Kings and 19. He said he believes it's the whole chapter. I'm not going to break down the whole chapter. What is it, the specific question that you feel is the same thing? For time's sakes, and if we can't get this together, I can put my number in the chat. You can give me a call. And we can spend some more time to actually go over the things that you are trying to get broken down. Okay, it does say right. Go ahead.
This is the book of 2 Kings, chapter 19,
Mhm.
verse 1.
Right.
Verse 1. And it came to pass when King Hezekiah heard it that he rent his clothes and covered himself with sackcloth and went into the house of the Lord.
Right. So this is these brothers are at the same time, right? So Hezekiah is sending messages to Isaiah, and Isaiah is sending messages to Hezekiah. These brothers they are what you would call contemporaries. They are around the same time period, and they are moving at the same time and dealing with the same issues. And so that's what is being said. He said, did the author of Isaiah write 2 Kings? Offhand, I'm not going to give that answer right now. I can look into that and do some research, but let's see. Is it word for word the same thing? He said, Elohim was over the house of Shebna the scribe. Yeah, this is verbatim. It said Hezekiah, verse 4. Let's see. Lord, sorry, I can't Isaiah. So I am going to say offhand that this is just two different accounts. It's similar to in the New Testament when you hear two people giving accounts of the same exact story. These brothers were in correspondence with each other. Hezekiah was communicating with Isaiah. Isaiah was communicating with Hezekiah, and Isaiah wrote this story down and documented it, and it was documented as well in 2 Kings. But that is a good question. I'm going to do some more research on that and get back with you. I'm gonna go ahead and put my number in the chat. If you want to give me a personal call, I can get back with you, or you can check in with us next week and we'll go over that a little bit more in depth. That's a solid question, though. All right. All right, let's get it. So, going back to the topic, tonight's topic is husband and wife leadership in the home. When we came into captivity in this place in America, the first and foremost thing that the oppressor said he needed to do in order to make sure we stay slaves for the next 400 to 2,000 years is reverse the role of a man and a woman. That is so crucial and key into keeping Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans at the bottom of society is a role reversal. And this is so evil for our oppressor to do that, because the first step he needs to do this is to get to the woman. He knows if he comes to the man first, this thing is not gonna work. Why is that, Mokan?
Because the head of man is Christ, the head of the woman is man.
Okay, you're stepping ahead, but okay, let's think about it. What is the natural role? Let me ask that first. What's the natural role of a man and a woman?
Protector and provider.
Okay. And what's the role of the woman?
So like the role of the woman is to be the resting place of that man, protect and provide for her.
Okay. I'm going to add on to that because those are right answers, right? The man is to lead and guide the woman, correct? And so the woman is to follow and submit to the man. From face value, who's winning in that situation?
The woman.
Oh, okay. You think so? The woman submitting and doing whatever her husband asked her to do, she's winning in that situation? Okay. You're a good brother. From face value, though, so, okay, if your woman was imperfectly in order, right? This is what I want you to see. All right. If your woman was in perfect order, she's doing everything you asked her to do, right? Would you want to give up that? Right. Exactly. So you understanding what I'm saying now? Or you? So who's winning in this situation from face value? Right. So if Satan came to you and said, "Hey man, we're gonna make it so that your woman don't ever listen to you again," you going for that?
Going to war, sir.
Exactly. But if you come to the woman and say you can do whatever you want, you don't have to listen to him anymore. You can be in charge. Who has the better deal now? You know what I'm saying? The woman has something to win in that situation. Even though she really is going to lose overall. But for that moment where she gets to take charge, she is taking advantage. So the oppressor says, in order for this to work, I have to get her on board with me first. Because then once she's out of order, she's going to raise her son and daughters out of order, and they don't know the difference. There's been massive studies that say if they cut off children from learning how to read or write, all it takes is 20 years of that happening, and it would take 2,000 years for people to learn how to read and write again. Because the children have nothing. It's like starting from nothing. You know, I was thinking about a comedian. He was like, we think we're smart in modern society because we use smart technology. He said, that doesn't make us smart because you got an iPhone and you know how to use it. He's like, send you to the woods and you come back with an iPhone, then I'll say you're smart. You know what I mean? Like the child going to the woods, if you don't teach him any letters, A, B, C, that baby's not going to walk out and think, you know what? I should find a way to write down human language and learn how to communicate. It's going to be 3,000 years before they figure that out. You know what I'm saying? It only takes 20 years of not teaching this kid. He will not be able to teach the next kid, and it would be gone. So that's the same thing the oppressor is saying. If we reverse the roles of men and women, all it takes is a few generations for a man not knowing what a man is to not be able to be a man at all. Okay. Right? And so that's the thing right here. So let's go to the first one. Let's go to 1 Corinthians 11:1. You were right there. Right? We'll talk about that as well. Boom, boom, boom. So I'm going to be better on just letting the precepts and breaking it down because they all going to guide me to what I need to say anyway. So I'll be a little bit less short, less long-winded tonight. Proverbs 23 and 31. Okay. All right. We can start at verse 3.
Mm-hmm. This is the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 11 and verse 3.
Right.
But I would have you know,
right,
that the head of every man
right,
is Christ, and the head of the woman is the man,
right,
and the head of Christ is God.
Right. So this is a rank and order system to the family. This is the structure that we've been given by the Lord. This is the order that has been set up to maximize the power of the Black and Latino family. When this thing is thrown out of order, our family is broken and completely weak. That woman taking that lie from Satan may have a moment of freedom, may have a moment of fun, but then she's going to deal with a lifetime or generations of being destroyed when these things do not advantage her in the long run. So, like the general was saying the other day, when you think economically, it literally tells you that in the Willie Lynch papers. This is for sound economics. If we reverse this, we're going to make a lot of money. If we can convince this woman that she doesn't have to listen to her husband, he's going to be weak. We killed out our competition. She's going to have to bear children. She can't compete with men the same way.
Right.
For this race to go on, they need women to raise children. And we're going to win and dominate them, and we will be fine for the next 1,000 years. Right? So let's go back to Genesis chapter 3. We'll go to one of the beginnings of this. Mm-hmm. And so our job in the truth is to reverse this back. It's to learn what it means to be a man, learn what it means to have leadership, learn what it means to be dominant in the righteous way, and learn how to convict the spirit of our woman to know why it's right to submit, why it's right to obey her husband, why is it right to know who your oppressor is and realize you've been finessed out of your position as the rulers on earth, and the lives of our women would be better, the lives of our children will be better if they got an order behind our men. But the first and foremost thing, let's go to Genesis though. Genesis chapter 3. Let's get start at verse 1.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 3, and verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, which the Lord God hath made.
Mm-hmm.
And he said unto the woman, Yea, hath God said, Ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden?
Right. So we know that this is the spirit of the so-called white man. We know that this is him in the garden coming to Eve and using subtlety, which means he's using trickery. He's using deception. And he is putting this in her mind. That's something she wasn't even thinking about. And that's how he deals with our women today. They'll come up with something that women weren't even thinking about, like even just small things, which are large things. These purses are getting out of control. $20,000 for a purse, $50,000 for a purse, $65,000, $100,000 purses for what? Satan is the one convincing these women that they need that. What difference is the bag? You know what I mean? What is it doing more than being a bag? It's not anything greater. You know what I mean? Like they can tell us that even men, it can get excessive, that these cars are not worth. Yeah, this car may not be a Bugatti 1.2 million. I don't think it's worth that. But I mean, these cars are faster than the average car. These cars have certain things on it. That purse I don't think is any more different than the average bag that you can get. You know what I mean? You can put your phone in it. You can put your makeup in it. Shalom. You know what I mean? If it's better quality, it can last a little bit longer. I don't think the gap of it being from $100, $300 to 45 goddamn $1,000 is that much. So him doing that and convincing women to do that, it's an advantage to him. He's using subtlety to do that. Keep going.
Verse 2.
Mm-hmm.
And the woman said unto the serpent, We may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 3. But of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden,
right?
God hath said.
Who said it?
God hath said.
One more time.
God hath said.
She knew the order that was given to her. She knew the rules. She knew the law. We're not supposed to partake in this activity, in this behavior right here. So you're coming to me saying the Lord didn't say we had to do this, when I know for a fact we do have to do this. Keep going.
Ye shall not eat of it,
Mm-hmm.
neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die.
Lest you what?
Lest ye die.
Right. This Bible is telling you the order is the head of Christ is the Most High. The head of man is Christ. The head of the woman is the man. This man should be in authority and leadership over you. That is what we need as a family. And if we don't follow that, our people are going to die. How do we know that's a fact? Who has the highest incarceration rate? Children that come from single parent households raised by women. We've seen the results of women leading the Black community, right? We've seen the results of women leading the Latino community, yet and still women will fight you on this of putting men back in charge because they have been so brainwashed. And in a lot of times they haven't seen men be real men because these men were raised by women, raised by weak men. So this is our job, to use the Bible to restore our manhood, our masculinity, and we can guide and lead women in the right way, in the right spirit. But this is understanding in the background. Let's keep going. Mm-hmm.
Verse 4.
Mm-hmm.
And the serpent said unto the woman, ye shall not surely die.
So this is a lie. This serpent, this oppressor is coming to her and saying, "No, that's not going to happen. You're going to be better without a man. You don't need a man. You don't need to save your money. Spend that money. You'll get more money. Buy the bag. Everybody's got one. You see your homegirl, she got one. Why don't you get one? You see them having fun over here like these heathens. This was us taking on the cultures of the other heathens. There's nothing wrong with smoking weed. You're gonna have fun. Why they just trying to what they call it? They say you're stupid if you listen to your man. You have a husband, he's telling you what to do. This is modern day. He's telling you what to do. You're not your own person anymore. You are dumb if you let a man tell you what to do. That's what they tell him. Right. But the truth is, those bras that believe that are the real dumb ones. Right? But keep going. Mm-hmm.
Verse 5.
Mm-hmm.
For God doth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil.
Right. And so we know she went on, ate the apple. Let's drop down to let's go to verse 9.
Come.
Oh no, let's go a little bit further. For time's sake, we're gonna keep it going. Verse 12.
Come. Verse 12. And the men said, the woman whom thou gavest to be with me,
Mm-hmm.
she gave me of the tree, and I did eat.
Right. So we know Adam tried. The Lord is questioning him and asking him, why did you do this? Why did you go against what I told you? What makes you know that you're naked? You have learned something. You ate that fruit, or you ate of that tree I told you not to. And the first thing Adam did was showing you his weakness is that he blamed the woman first. He didn't want to be accountable for it. So the first step to being a man and a leader is accountability. Being over accountable, being responsible, not only for yourself, but for the person that you're leading and guiding. Go ahead.
Like it, sir. So you know the saying that a lot of men have these days where they just say women have no accountability.
Mm-hmm.
And they hold that as a fault in women, and so they say they want to go and get a wife from outside the country because American women or Western women have no accountability.
Right.
Would you say that we should expect them to have no accountability and take the accountability for themselves?
Correct.
Right,
because what's the precept for that? Let's see if you got it. We're gonna.
So I can serve the woman as a weaker vessel.
Yeah, get that brother hand. You know that's on there. I'd be even more impressed if you give me at least the book where it's at.
Oh, is it book of 2 Corinthians?
It's First Peter. First Peter. But third chapter as well. But yeah, still, that's it right there. The woman is the weaker vessel, and that's why he preys on women. He's preying on her weakness because inside of her, it's a natural inclination to obey. As long as he just changes the person she's going to listen to him, then he's at an advantage. So it's the same thing. Like the woman will go to her job and obey her boss and do everything that he asks her to do. But when it comes to her man or her father, she'll find ways to not listen. So the oppressor plays on her mindset and her weakness that, hey, you are free, and then enslaves her. And that's what, going back to what you're saying, is that these men are saying they're going to go to another country to find other women to dominate them, as opposed to seeing that these are your women, these are your people. You have some issues as well. You're not perfect as well. You got some things to fix. You have room for growth. And you can't leave your sister behind when it's your job to be the leader of the community. Now, does that mean go out there and go to the strip club and find a broad? And I'm here to save you and turn into a Captain Saver. You know what? You know what I'm saying? We're not saying that. But a woman that you choose to lay with, that you choose to make your wife, it is your job to take on that responsibility of leading her. And that's the role of a husband, the role of a man. And so this is something that we have to focus on: headspace, having the right psychology, being comfortable with taking leadership and being in control. And in doing that, you're going to have to be creative, because you're not dealing with a robot. That's what he wants. He wants to go to the Philippines and get a robot and programmer to say, bitch, I need 2 eggs, 3 bacon, 7 o'clock in the morning, and I'm going to go to work, come back, everything folded properly. You give me no mouth, you shut up, sit down and do it. That Filipino woman is doing that because she is trying to be free. She'll do whatever you say. She's going to enslave herself, because damn near the man that's really over her is like, hey, you don't do what the hell he says, we're going to beat you up. You better go to American, listen to that man, and send us some money back over here. They don't see that side of it. So, and then at the end of the day, she ended up leaving. Like them women be whores the same way. They end up cheating and doing all manner of evil and wickedness that you're going to find out that, for one, there's really no difference. It's the same thing for the sisters, because they get finessed and think the oppressor is better. I just saw a video of a sister saying how great white men are. In the next video, they showing her in there with a bloody mouth, and he in the bathroom telling her, do you see that video? You know what I'm saying? He like, hey, tell them that you made me do this to you. Tell them that, man. And like one brother said in the comments, like, man, I hated to see that too. And it didn't make me feel good to see a black woman in that position. And in a lot of ways, that's how the Lord feels. That's how Christ feels. It's like, damn, I warned you. I told you. You even fought me on this and talked like a dog about me about it. But to actually see it happen, it doesn't make me feel good. It's some type of sadness to see, and especially our hatred for the devils, man. It's like, good night, he's treating the sister like that. But she had to learn a hard lesson, and maybe she didn't, and she does. But this is the things that have to happen when they don't follow the ways of the Lord. But so, like I see, the sister has something on it. She said, my ex-husband is a non-Messianic Israelite, and he hates Christ. When I talk about the good works, he curses on Christ's name. What should I do? He hates Christ. So the first thing, why are you saying ex-husband? If you are no longer with him, the question I would ask you, is it because he put you away? And if that's the case, then just put up prayers and Lord be with him. And that be the end of it. I mean, he's gone into the world. He left you. You're going to have to move forward. I wouldn't put too much thought or energy about what he says or what he's teaching. If for whatever reason you separated for a time because some issues with him, and this is not direct counsel, I don't know the specifics. You don't have to put all that into the chat either. I'm just going to go ahead and answer that vague off of what you're saying. If there's some reason you separated from him, he was being violent, he was harming you, that's still your husband. You have no right to get another husband. If there's some way for you to counsel and reconcile with him or figure how to work things out, regardless of what he believes, then that's one thing. If the marriage is over and you have gone with another man, then that is your husband, and that's who you should be focused on and worrying about. So those are the things that, if you want to follow the laws of God, if you lay with a man, that is your husband, no matter what the laws of America say. You can only end that marriage by sleeping with another man, and that is committing adultery. Now, if he throws you away and says he doesn't want to deal with you, then you are no longer underneath him, and he is not your husband. And I would say there's nothing to even talk to him about at that point. Right. All right. But going back, where we at? I'm getting a little sidetracked. Go ahead.
Verse 12, or sorry, verse 13.
Go ahead.
Come. And the Lord God said unto the woman,
Mhm.
what is this that thou hast done?
Right.
And the woman said, the serpent beguiled me,
Mhm.
and I did eat. Verse 14. And the
Okay.
Lord,
Yeah, we got the brother at the door. Go ahead. But I'm gonna keep going on that too. So then he asked the woman, he said, what is this that thou hast done? And the woman said, the serpent beguiled me, and I did eat. And so, and the Lord said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle and above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly thou shalt go, and dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. Verse 15, and I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. Like there is an enmity between the oppressor and our women moving forward, because the Lord has made it where the woman is following him, but at the same time, she's getting further destroyed by following the oppressor. All right, shalom. All right. All right. You know, the brothers on this side and the sisters on that side. Yeah. All right, shalom, sis, as well. So right now, we just a brief overview. We're going over the topic tonight is husband and wife, leadership in the home, and how America has set it up to reverse the natural roles that God set in place for men and women. All right, and we're going into the book of Genesis. We're in the 3rd chapter, and we're seeing when Eve ate the apple, or not the apple, it's light, out of order, ate that fruit. They say there's no apple, that's not in the Bible, but she ate the fruit, or she started following the customs of the other nations. What the punishment was for Adam and for her for doing this, right? Igor, we in verse, let's go to verse 16.
come. The book of Genesis, chapter 3, and verse 16.
Mm-hmm.
Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception.
Mm-hmm.
In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee.
Right. And so, man, in America, man, this sounds like a bunch of evil. Like for you to tell anyone in modern society that a man should rule over a woman, that sounds just completely evil. Right? Go ahead.
So, sir, would this be considered the punishment that they were getting because they broke the law?
I understand what you're saying. No, so it's not the punishment because that was the order already, right? What is this? It's more doubling down and saying that this situation, it has to be known. Like this is a strict order. You need to be aware that in order for things to work, you're going to have to follow. Let this man lead. Go ahead, though.
Sorry, sir. So you're saying it's a double down? Would it be a double down because she didn't allow Adam to rule over her by following the serpent?
Correct. Her disobedience to the Most High. Like everyone is trying to take away from their accountability. Adam tried to blame Eve, which is a lot of things that weak men do today, like we were talking about earlier. They say, I gotta leave America, I gotta go get some woman in Philippines or something, passport bros. They don't want to take accountability for leading in leadership. And she's trying to delegate her responsibility to the snake when she knew what was right to do. So Lord is just saying that moving forward, let's just let this be known. This is how things are going to have to be. Because you did this thing right here, you didn't have to do it. You did make that decision. You need to know this is how it's going to be. You know, go ahead.
Sorry, sir. I don't know if you saw the clubhouse video that Captain Cesario did with the WAC 100 side, with the women, and where you just said he was being disobedient. And Captain Cesario said the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
The woman in the room got stole. They got fired up over that, saying, "Where is this word obey?"
Right.
Saying you can't. Like, why are you saying she disobeyed? It's like they couldn't even. Their spirit didn't even allow another man to say that a woman was disobedient.
Right.
And they took offense to that.
Right. And like I said, so the language, right? The language behind these type of things, it's been influenced by the oppressor, what we call the white man, right? Like I said, going back, just giving you all a recap, right? Talking about the Willie Lynch papers. Are you familiar? I think, did I ask you about that before, or do you know about that, brother?
You said
Willie Lynch papers.
Nah.
Quick breakdown is they made a paper talking about how to break a slave. And the first part of that paper says the first thing a slave master has to do is to get the woman and break her. And she is going to then in turn raise her children to be in reverse roles. And the way they would do that is they would take the strongest male that was going to fight back and do something violent and tear him apart in front of everybody. Then take the next strongest male and beat him half to death in front of everybody. So now the woman is seeing this is my protector. I don't have anyone to protect me. So she goes into an independent psychological state. And she's saying, I don't need a man. And the way I'm going to survive is by obeying him because he forced her to do everything he's saying. Right, go ahead.
I've heard even the master
Mhm.
of the plantations even doing crazy stuff like essaying the men. In front
Right,
of them,
yeah.
stuff like that.
They call it buck breaking. Right. And so these are the things that our parents went through. And he forces women to obey him and they don't even see it. And so this is the trickery of it, is that if a man says it, then it sounds like it's evil. And so when you fast forward to it, because that's literally what it says. He says, you're going to make that woman do whatever you say. And then she is going to raise her children to obey you and reverse the roles and teach women to be independent, teach the men to be dependent. Long story short, how do you translate that to modern day society? That's like a man that is going to jail or prison. You have a young girl, she grows up, her father is in prison, she doesn't have anyone to protect her. The society is breaking him. And now she grows up, she's like, well, I cannot depend on a man. My mom telling me I can't depend on a man. I need to learn how to be independent. I need to go to school. I need to get this job. I get Section 8 welfare, whatever it is that society can provide for me, that's who I'm going to listen to. So if Section 8 says you need to have this document, you need to have here, you need to have it by the 3rd. If you don't, you get cut off, then they're going to obey that and they're going to do it. And if they say, I need you to show up to work at 9 o'clock, they're going to get there at 8:45 and do that because they don't see it as obeying your boss. They don't see it as him dominating you. And so it's invisible to them. So the person that you're laying with and sleeping with, your husband, it's crazy to say, why are you talking to me this way? Why are you telling me that? But like I said, we're going to have a balance of this. This is not a tell women what's wrong with them class. This is a tell men what's wrong with them class. Tell men how we can fix ourselves. Tell women what's wrong with them, how we can fix them as well. And that is us coming together and what we can do that's right. So we're not going to focus on all the things of wrong. Let's focus on what's right so that we can actually have a positive family and move in unison as one. Like I said, going back to that, what a real man is, what a real husband is a leader. And what comes with leadership, key is being kind-hearted. You can't be a leader and have a cold heart, right? And that is something that we learn from our king. It's like being a coach or maybe like a gardener. Like this relationship, we're going to pour water on it. We're going to bring sunshine on it. We're going to make this work and make this balance. But within this balance, I can't lead unless you're willing to follow. You go to any job, any slavery in America, They have a manager, a supervisor, a team lead. They got a CEO. For that business to work, they had to set a ranking system for someone to guide that business forward. Go ahead.
So, yes, sir. And the proof of this is in the verse you read earlier, where pretty much Adam is the one taking accountability for Eve eating the fruit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Right. All right. Let's get our next precept. Let's get Ephesians chapter 5, and we'll start at verse 25. And so this thing that we learn in the Israelite School of UPK, like being a man, if it sounds like it's a lot of work, it is a lot of work. But there should be some sense of fulfillment saying, I'm going to take on a responsibility to improve my wife's life in some way. Those are the things that, like I said, a lot of men in the world, they don't take accountability for. And so improving their life is not tricking, excuse me. You know what I'm saying? Well, Wayne, it ain't tricking if you got it. People in the world think that you can purchase a woman's love, purchase a woman's obedience, purchase her loyalty, when that's not being kind-hearted. Buying someone is the same thing the white man does.
Right.
He thinks that he can buy people, buy loyalty, buy obedience. Because I bought this house, you got to do what I say. Because I pay for that car, you got to do what I say. You don't do what I say, I'm going to take that car from you. And we see the result of that because bad leaders do that. And who does that the most to black men? Who's the second then? Exactly. Because they learn from him. They get put in a position in society where it's been reverse roles, that now she's the leader of the household, she's the number one bread earner. And as a leader, as the person dominating the relationship, she said, if you listen to whatever I say, you can drive my car. You don't, then I'm taking the keys back. That's not kindness. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead up.
Oh, sir, I said that you're saying that you actually have a friend who last.
No, I was about to say, don't put your whole business out there. I'm like, it's a lie. He got to, matter of fact, man, my real love, like, nah.
A friend. But yeah, it actually happened to him where
Right.
his woman actually, like, he went out, stayed out too late, got a little loaded,
Right.
came back home, and next thing you know, his girl, like, he knew his girl didn't like that type of thing, but she
Right.
had so much control over him where they pretty much broke up in the end, but before they broke up, she started taking away all the things that she had given him before, which was her car.
Right.
She kicked him out, like all these things that she used to actually try to control him.
Right.
But
And
yeah.
right. And that's not being a good leader, right? And that's not how Christ treated us. It's like you cannot force someone to obey you. You can't force someone to follow you. You can't force a woman to submit, right? And that is the evil of our oppressor. Like I said, once again, going back, he's forcing us to submit to him in that way of, if you don't pay your bills, you're going to be homeless. That's violence. That's another form of violence. If I say, if you don't go to work tomorrow, I'm going to put you out on the street, you have no choice but to go to work tomorrow. And so you have to listen to your boss. But this side, which makes this righteous, is that when you follow the truth and you understand that there is an order, and we talked about it earlier, the head of Christ is the Most High. Even Christ has to obey the Lord. He can't do whatever he wants to do. But he knows that leadership is going to lead him to the right path. The head of man is Christ. If I'm as a man and I think I can do whatever I want to do and live my life by my own rules, then I'm going to be a goddamn monster. I'm going to try to, this is going to be the last time I'm going to bring up P. Diddy. I'm trying to be the last time. But that's P. Diddy. That's a man saying, I do what I want to do. He doesn't follow Christ. He doesn't follow the Lord. He took that power and completely abused women, men, Salakia, children. You know what I'm saying? Like, he took advantage of that power because he doesn't obey anyone, but he wanted everyone around him to obey him. That's evil and wicked as hell. You understand? So as men, we can't just say, okay, the women need to obey me because I'm the man. And just because I stand up when I'm pissed, that makes me greater. What makes you greater is that you have humility to say, I'm going to obey Christ.
Right.
And I'm going to follow the Lord. And I am going to work on myself. To be a good leader, you have to work on yourself twice as much as you want to work and guide your wife. Because if you are saying you need to be more organized, you need to be more diligent and on time, but you're slacking and you're not organized, you're not on time when you go, you're not handling business, then how are you leading that person? You lead by example.
Right.
These are the things that we learn from Christ. Go ahead.
Book of Ephesians, chapter 5, and verse 25.
Mm-hmm.
Husbands, love your wives,
Mm-hmm.
even as Christ also loved the church.
One more time.
Right.
Husbands, right?
Love your wives.
Love your wives. Keep going.
Even as Christ also loved the church.
Right. How did Christ love the church or the school or the men that followed him? He taught them. He corrected them. When they were wrong, he corrected. He's going to tell you, like, nah, you shouldn't do this. This is why you shouldn't do it, though. It's not just because I tell you. We got all these teachings from Christ because he's showing you why he's telling you to do this. This is not only because just because I want to tell. I'm not P. Diddy saying, go walk across the Brooklyn Bridge, bring me back some milk, because I'm telling you to do it. I'm telling you because this is good for you as well. That's why I say that creativity and that thinking that I am going to guide this woman, my wife, to something better. And it's not just possessions. It's not material things. It's not saying we're going to get this, get that, and the third. But how can you improve on your life? What can you add to you? What is something that you're working on? What do you need to be better? And let's see and focus and build you up. And sometimes that can come with, you need to go back to school. You need to work on getting in this career. You can get a hobby and learn how to start sewing or whatever it is, knowing that when we have a mission here if the two greatest commandments is to love the Lord your God with all your heart and all your soul, paraphrasing, and to love your brother or your neighbor as yourself. As Israelites, our job is to take care of our nation of people. And you can guide and show that this is important to take care of our people. Sisters in the UPK are out here cooking food, not only for the brothers when we go to camp. They're sewing garments. They are developing food programs and getting in contact with food banks so that we can feed the homeless, right? So that they can have a hot meal. That adds purpose to your life and value to your life more than just buying the next hottest purse. But like I said, that doesn't mean we want to live poorly and have nothing. We can have nice things, but we just got to prioritize what's right. And so Christ loved the church by not only guiding and teaching us, but he also was willing to sacrifice and give up his life for us. And that is something that sometimes brothers, I can say, in the world miss when they hear that, oh, women should obey them. It's like they just want to live like a king and put nothing back. But you should be sacrificing and giving up your energy to guide this person. All right, go ahead.
Want to start from the top?
No, keep going.
Verse 26.
Mm-hmm.
That he might sanctify and cleanse it with the washing of water by the word.
Right, and that's the teaching, right? Keep going.
27. That he might present it to himself a glorious church, not having spot or wrinkle or any such thing, but that it should be holy and without blemish. Right,
and so that we are obeying and following the Lord, and so that we're moving in a righteous manner, in a righteous fashion. That's how your family should be. And these things don't happen overnight. And I just want to get, for people that may not understand what this Israelite thing is about, if you can take away our name is the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge. What does that mean? Practical means to practice the knowledge we're getting and use it in our real life. We're not able to use it and make our life better. It's no use to even learn this information. You can go to church all you want. If you don't use the things that you're learning there, or when you do use it, it makes your life worse, then that's crazy to follow. We're not a religion. This is a culture that we're a part of that we believe came before we came here as slaves, and that we're returning back to our ancient culture. And why is this important? If you can take off the miracles of the Bible, because people just get so caught up, the Christian way of teaching the Bible is just it's like having a genie. It's like, oh, the Bible, they split the Red Sea and it was people walking on water. It's all these miracles that they can get sidetracked and not see the practicality of this history book of a nation of people. I don't want to be too confusing. What am I saying? I'm saying that take the miracles off of Israelite culture, realize that every nation has their own culture. If you go to the Samoans, they have the movie Moana. They talk about a whole bunch of gods and a whole bunch of the sea this and monsters that, and we got to go over here and do this to restore the island back to glory. They have all these stories. What are the stories for? To teach their people how to operate amongst each other. There's a message in the whole goddamn story about Moana. I don't know what it is, but it's to teach the kids something, right? Every society has this. Chinese people will tell you about some dragons, and Buddha, and Hindus will tell you about the Bhagavad and this goddess and that. There's something in there for you to use it. It's not just to sit around and hear these stories. What's wrong with Black people having that? What's wrong with Latino people having that? Hold your peace real quick. What's wrong with us having that? Take if you don't want to believe in the story per se, can you use these stories to apply and make our culture better? Because we've been a people without a culture, and we see what it's like. You go to Oakland and go on the streets and see what our people are like without a culture. See how they act without rules. See how they act without knowing the proper breakdowns of these stories and are not applying them to their life. They're committing adultery. They're on drugs. They are part of the rainbow community. They are abusing women. Women are taking advantage of men. Like, this is the culture of Black people is self-destructive. Who made it? Cardi B made a song talking about, or they glorified drugging men and then taking money from them. Rick Ross made a song about drugging women and taking their bodies from them. Like, that's a disgusting culture, and you see the results of it. So what is wrong with saying, we're saying this culture is beneficial and it's positive. If we move like this as a nation and people, we won't be at the bottom of everyone else. We will be at the top. But go ahead, Slaki.
Bro, I'm just gonna make a comment. It's like, pretty much it's just like, you know how Joe Biden just said, or a couple years ago said, if you don't vote for me, you're not Black.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the same thing. Just like, if you're not destructive, you don't do these destructive
Damn.
things, then you're not even Black.
Get out of him. You know what I'm saying? And that's really what they've done with the movies and the music for a long time, has made us think that this is how we're supposed to be. And I never understood. I used to think when they say in the movies and representation is important, I didn't understand it. But now I see, like, if you watch Spider-Man, like my son, they have a new Spider-Man with the Black kid, Latino, Puerto Rican. When my son watches Spider-Man, he sees himself. He's like, oh, I can be a hero. I can be like that. That's me. Before, when you're a kid, you watching this white kid, the great hero is a white man, but you're not like that. So you don't see yourself in that. But what do you see yourself at? You see this movie where it's a bunch of drug dealers and boys in the hood. When you see your representation, it's a nigga shooting people and selling dope. And when you see your representation as a young Black girl, it's the girl twerking in the video. So you think that's you in your natural role. And the oppressor, the white man, knows that. So he fills our children with a bunch of images of destructive behavior because they think that's how they're supposed to be. And once we reverse that and show us in a different light, then you will see that different result from our people. But keep going.
Verse 28. So ought men to love their wives
Mhm.
as their own bodies.
Right.
He that loveth his wife loveth himself.
Right. Go ahead. Break that down, young man. What does that mean?
To love the wife as yourself is to treat her with kindness
Okay.
and to also lead her in
Mhm.
the right way through the Most High. And yeah, that's really all I got in that right there.
Damn right. Excellent answer. And when you make that analogy come to life, this is when we can make it through hard situations, right? Like Mawakar, you was telling me earlier, you hurt your knee yesterday. I see you squirming a little bit earlier. I'm like, oh, that brother said he damn near tore his meniscus. I'm like, good night. That's a lot of pain, right? Right. You've been in other pain. You've hurt your back before. Have you ever broken a bone before? Okay. But you might have some pain right in your knee, right? Now, if it keeps acting up, would you cut it off? Oh man, see, this is a cold brother. He cold blooded. You're not helping my analogy, but yeah.
I was way too late waking up from this game.
Yeah, we're gonna challenge him on this. We're gonna see. I got a sword over here right now. But nah, the analogy what Christ is saying, when you realize you and your wife are one, you, no matter good or bad, sometimes you gotta suffer. Like, if I make this decision to become one, then you're gonna have to take the good and the bad. It's like, if my knee is hurting, you can't just cut your knee or your finger off. I got a bad elbow or whatever. I'm gonna hobble along with this bad knee. And that's why it's important that when we choose who we're going to be with in that courting phase, that you have a time period to explain some of the things that you expect, some of the things that you want. She can explain some of those things, and you can see if y'all can move in a certain direction. Because once you make that decision, you are supposed to be dedicated to this person according to the Lord till y'all are no more. And that's a very important responsibility. I see memes all the time where they say, a husband is the only person that truly loves you. I know that's not true, but I don't know if y'all seen that on Instagram. It's like, your mother loves you because you're her daughter. Your father loves you because your sister loves you because you're her sister, etc. Like, you are born into this, but this choice of men and women coming together is something that you're actually making. And it goes both ways. Women that love a man, it's a choice. So to make that choice and that commitment is very important. And to tear that apart for frivolous reasons is evil in the eyes of the Lord. Right? And so the same way you might learn how to move with a bad knee, you might get with a woman you didn't take your time and really get things in order immediately before you made the decision. You're gonna have to keep walking with that. You can't throw that woman away, man. You can't put her away. You're gonna have to be with her. So read that verse one more time.
This is the book of Ephesians, chapter 5, verse 28.
Mm-hmm.
So ought men to love their wives as their own bodies.
Mm-hmm.
He that loveth his wife loveth himself.
This is a little thing that I even learned, like dealing with kids or dealing with other people. Like me, if I was in here and I just pushed this over and I broke this glass, I forgive myself way easier. Y'all notice that? Well, let your son knock it up. Nigga, what are you doing? You get all mad, let your wife drop something and burn something. It's like, what's going on? Same way, you do something, she blazing on you about it. But it's so easy you don't do that to yourself. You know what I'm saying? Cats in the world, they want to choke her out if she's not listening. You don't do that when you don't listen. You like, man, I need to go to the gym tomorrow. You didn't go, nigga, what you doing? You have a whole lot of mercy for yourself for some reason, but it's hard to do that for others. And so one thing we do in the UPK, we talk about brotherhood, man. Brotherhood is a weapon.
That's correct.
You understand? Like, that is something that's very powerful for me to show love to this brother, man. This brother need a ride, and I can get him a ride, I'm gonna get him a ride. If he's saying he's a homeless, he can come stay at my house. We're gonna make room. If he says he needs some food or his kids need something, we are gonna find a way to make it happen. That brotherhood should not just be afforded to us. We got to give some of that brotherhood to our wives. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like the thing where it's like, oh, can you go pick this up for me? If I called and asked you to do it, would you go do it? Okay, think about that sometime when you just tell her, like, nah. You know what I'm saying? Like, check your spirit. Show some brotherhood, and wives got to do the same thing. Sisterhood is just not for sisters to be kind to each other. It's for them to show some of that sisterhood to the husbands as well, man. And so that's important right here, what it's saying as far as that. Let's keep going, though. Let's keep going. Let's go down a couple more verses. All right. Yeah, this is the one I wanted right here, too.
Verse 29.
Mm-hmm.
For no man ever yet hated his own flesh.
Right.
But nourisheth it,
mm-hmm.
nourisheth and cherisheth.
Right.
But nourisheth and cherisheth it, even as the Lord the church.
Right. And so that's the balance of a positive, productive relationship. Is you go to work, the boss tells you, I need you to do this when you get here. I need you to take care of that. I need you to do this. And what happens? You do that. And then at the end of the week, you get your paycheck. And then you can get the things that you want. It's the same thing. And I don't want to use that. That's because that's transactional. But in a lot of ways, the balance of a positive relationship is it's a power. It's a flow of power. Is that the husband is saying, here, I'm going to guide you. I'm going to direct you. Let's do this. This is the plan we're going to do. You follow that. The woman is supposed to serve her husband. He gets energy from that. And he takes that energy and puts it back into guiding her. And that flow is the garden that you're growing. That's how you can grow. And so that's what he's saying. Like, you would never hurt yourself. You're going to nourish yourself and take care of yourself. And then that's the way you should treat her. And on the flip side, once again, bringing it back, the more you focus on building yourself up and becoming better men is going to make it better for you to lead this person. You know what I'm saying? So you always start with you first, guiding yourself. Don't make excuses and shift the blame like Adam. That's being weak. Right. You understand? That's too easy to do that. A lot of men grow up in single parent homes with mothers, and they take on the ways of them, and they learn how to not be accountable. You understand what I'm saying? And this is something that Commander Johanna always taught us growing up in the truth, is how to be accountable and be responsible. That's what rank is. You want to have rank, you going out and you're saying, I'm not only responsible for my behavior, I'm responsible for them. All right? Keep going.
Come. Verse 30.
Mm-hmm.
For we are members of his body,
right,
of his flesh,
right,
and of his bone.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 31. For this cause shall a man leave his father and mother,
right, and
shall be joined unto his wife, and they two shall be one flesh.
Right. And so that's, once again, that's that balance that comes from the Lord. Not only the most, it's another evil thing. People think that we're crazy. We can battle people. We can explain in the Bible. But if you never heard this before, sex is marriage. Right. You understand? Like, the thing that makes the marriage is the sex. If that was not happening, this is a friendship. There's nothing different going on here. Society has taught our people that going to a government building, getting some papers, getting a ring is what's marriage. And our people are doing everything under the sun before they get to that point. And the most important relationship you think with your husband is the last person that a woman has given her body to. You know what I'm saying? It's like the person that's supposed to be here and guide you and protect you and die for you is the last person that you have been with on the list. It was never supposed to be that. It was supposed to be the first person and the last person in this relationship is not supposed to end. And that is where children come from. You understand? It's like you not only became one as you're doing together, but the children you bring from that. And so if your child doesn't have a birth certificate, you wouldn't say they're not alive. You know what I mean? And so you to not have a marriage certificate, how is that defining a marriage? How does this piece of paper, society we're in tomorrow, how will we define marriage? We'd have to find a way to say these people are together. And that was it. And that's what it's always been. They still say it today. You consummate a marriage is by, laying with each other. Go ahead up.
So I actually got into a conversation with one of my coworkers
Mhm.
last week. I think I told you about it.
Right.
Where he was talking about, he was asking me if I was married, and I was saying, yes, I'm married.
Mm-hmm.
He kept pushing to the point where I knew what he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
He was trying to say, like, you got your paper pretty much.
Right.
And we got to that point where I was just like, well, no, we don't have paper for it, but she's still my wife. And it was just like, even though I was in the world before, it's still crazy for me to see that it's so foreign for people to understand that when you have sex, you have marriage. So the way that it was crazy too, I made
Mhm.
speeches at the end of it by saying, what's the purpose of sex? And it was just like to have kids. And I was just like, and when you have those kids, is she your wife? And then he didn't have a question. What he said was, I'm gonna have to ask G about this, which is the pastor that I work with as well. But it was just like, you have sex to have kids. So you're saying, those your kids? Are they not your kids?
Right.
Are they her kids?
Right,
Are you her father?
Right.
Is she his or her mother?
Right.
Y'all are married then.
Right.
But it's a simple thing, but still people in the world find it so hard to understand.
And that's another trick of the oppressor. He knows that, like, imagine, I just always think of how different our community would be. I mean, the UPK is an example of that.
Right.
Once again, a lot of people have died in our community fighting over women because this brother is sleeping with this brother's woman, and it causes these men to fight and kill each other. I remember I was talking to a sister, that the Bible says a man can have more than one wife if he chooses. And she was like, oh, can a woman have more than one husband? And I'm like, nah. She was like, that's crazy. That's not fair. Why is that? I'm like, you can go to one logical explanation. I'm like, they have a TV show called Maury back in the days. They always asking who is the father. They never have any episodes saying who is the mother. Because when a woman sleeps with multiple men, you don't even know who the father is. If you flip it, if a man had multiple wives and they were loyal to him, then you would know who's the father of these kids. If you were trying to populate the world and one woman slept with 10 men in 1 year, she's going to have one child. If one man slept with 10 women at the end of the year, you could have 10 children. In 10 years, a man could have 100 children and she'll have 10 children. It just doesn't make sense biologically. But I say, if you want to even take that off of the board, if women were fighting over a man, they might get into a cat fight, roll around, get hurt. Even worst case scenario, you got a really crazy woman, she kills the other one. It's a horrible situation. Flip that, if two men are fighting over a woman, men, in order to survive against other men, have historically teamed up. It's like you can't fight a group of 10 men unless you got 10 men with you. You're going to lose that battle. So men having testosterone, wanting to go and dominate the world and do all these things, they have had gangs or cliques, whatever you want to call it, soldiers with them. These two men fight over this woman, and this man kills this man. It doesn't stop there. He got 10 niggas with him that are mad that you killed their brother, and they're going to go kill one of them. And they're going to go back and kill one of them, and it's going to go on and go on and go on. If y'all think I'm making it up, there's a war in LA. The A-Track Gangster Crips and the Rolling 60s have been going to war since 1980. It's been over 40 years. These brothers have killed thousands of each other. And they will tell you on countless stories that it was because it was one woman dealing with it, Rolling 60s, and then she went over and dealt with the A-Track Gangsters. And somewhere in between that, it led to them fighting. And now thousands of people that had nothing to do with her or him have died because of this. And so things like this are why these things are set up this way, man. There's just a difference and there is an order to these things, man. So that sex being marriage could prevent so much of that, because you wouldn't look at it like, oh, this is just some girl he's sleeping with. You would say, man, that's that brother's wife. And it's not our culture to do that. And to try to take another man's wife is a death penalty, a sentence. That is the culture of the Bible. We're not going to do that in America in our captivity, but that's not going down in Israel. You do that, you're getting put to death, because that's the utmost disrespect. We cannot unite as a nation of people when I can't trust this brother to not disrespect me in that manner.
Right.
You understand? And it just makes everything a whole lot more decency and order. Did you have something? Go ahead.
I have a question. On the precept, I tried to just look for it, I couldn't find it. On the precept about a woman being the most powerful thing.
Mhm.
Strong.
That's in I want to say that's in Ezra's. Let's see, second Ezra's. Dang, I didn't in my pocket back. Second Ezra's, it might be the 6th chapter. Let's see. This is, see, it's not a good answer, because let's get that real quick. Hey, hold on. Ezra's or Ecclesiastes again. It might be Ecclesiastes. I can find it real quick. I'm trying to work on my memory and stuff, but for time's sake, the King Almighty. So first Ezra's 4. Where you wanted to start, it says, yeah, man, where it goes, Robert still, man, love a wife better than the father. Verse 14. This is a we saying more stronger than the truth? Okay. But the truth is more stronger than the one way it's like way.
Yeah, it was a verse talking about how the woman is the powerful thing. And it's like I believe stronger is one of the things that they compare it to.
This is in here as well, I believe. This is. Are you familiar with this story right here? You know. Do you familiar with the story though that I pulled up? Okay. So you know it says, "What is more powerful? Neither is wine." You see verse 14. Okay, so I may know of the precept you're talking about, but I can't think of on here. I need a little bit more to find it. Like I can't think of it right now. But for time's sake, let's keep rolling. All right. Let's see. Let's go to 1 Timothy 5:8. So we got where we at? 8:00, 8:10. So yeah, we're gonna let's run through some of these. And that's the thing, though. Going back to that power flow, man, it sounds crazy, but I know in growing in my relationship with my wife, it's like the things that are hard in life are the things that we need. And the things that are easy are not good for you. You know what I'm saying? It's like eating healthy, going to the gym, getting up early, cleaning up. Those things are hard in life. But when you handle that business, you get more benefits out of it. It's easy to choose a cupcake and cookie over some broccoli and a salad, but the benefits of that broccoli and a salad are way better than you eating this cookie. It's the same thing in life. Like, we're not going to sit here and sell a dream and saying that, oh, it's easy to just be in order and do what your husband's asking you to do. That is a hard thing for women to do. And it is, it's a challenge, right? But the benefits of it are far greater and should be greater than the opposite of that. Go ahead.
That's like I was going to say, that's exactly what you're saying right now, because the benefits are always better, especially when or it's a lot easier to go for that cupcake and
Mhm.
that cookie when you don't know the detriments of
Right.
what it is to have it. And would that precept be their historical, they have lack of knowledge?
Why would you say that? You kind of lost me now.
Because like when
Oh, okay, yeah, I
when
got
you
it.
do
I'm there with you.
understand the detriments of
Right.
something that's sweet or
Right.
something that you want,
Right,
it's a lot easier for you to turn away from.
right,
Like,
right.
the example being like my rib, she just like, cause I was like
Mhm.
before my rib, I didn't snack right.
Right, right.
I don't snack naturally.
Right.
It was like, how do you do that? It's just like,
Mhm.
I'm thinking about all the bad things
Mm,
it's gonna do to you
right.
in the future.
The knowledge of it.
It's
Right.
a lot easier to turn away from those things.
Right. And that's why we're here to teach that, is to show people that this is not something that we just created out of the blue or thin air. I'm not that intelligent.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Damn, I'm not that intelligent though. Nah, I'm telling you, man. Like these things, I am humble to tell you, I am not that wise or intelligent to get this understanding of life, right? That the results of the reverse is something that we got to understand. There's always going to be someone in charge.
Right.
And if the man is not in charge, then the woman is in charge. There is no equality. That's another American concept they use to destroy our people. They tell you we're about the land of the free, we equal, everyone should have a voice and a vote, while you work at Popeyes, you work at Burger King, and ain't no vote, and there's ain't no equality. The people that own the business make millions and billions of dollars, and we don't get anything, but they keep telling us this lie of equality. That's why people hate Donald Trump. You know what I'm saying? Because these section of white people are lying to their children and telling them this is equality. We're all supposed to have fairness. And the people that love Donald Trump and support him, they know the reality that America is about being a bully. America is not about fairness. America is not about equality. What makes America great is inequality, oppression, abuse. You understand? Like what makes America great is everything but equality. I don't pay. He said, "Do you pay your tax?" He said, "No, I don't pay taxes, and I'm smart because I don't do it." Of course, I don't pay. Who pays that? Like, this is intelligent for me to get over on the system to take advantage of people. What are you talking about? That we want to let Mexicans come over here and live and have a good life? The hell no, we're gonna make them suffer and crawl and bleed and put them in cages, separate their kids. They cannot have a good life. If they want to get here, they're gonna beg to make 5 cents an hour from me so I can make billions off of their back. That is America. That's what makes this place amazing. And the other party is like, no, you're exposing us for who we are. Stop talking like that. And the other half is like, yeah, we need more of that. The reason why my life sucks is because we keep giving Black people and Latino people equality, right? And so when they tell you that oh, your family, you gotta be equal, you gotta be the same. Really, they're saying women need to run the household. Women need to be in charge. You're going to dominate this man. You're going to do whatever he says. And what do they use all the time to do that? Go ahead. I almost gave it away, but how what do women use in society to that? Oh, that was a good one. And who else do they almost give it away? Who else do they reach out to? Yep, by via the another one. He on it. Was one more, my Wakan. Like, if the woman is losing and cannot dominate, who is she gonna get to dominate you and get her power going? There you go, man. You know what I mean? The police, man. This has been historically use of a way to force you. You're gonna do what we say. You don't, you're going to jail. And you go to jail, you're gonna pay this child support. You're not gonna have a place to live. I have an army behind me that's gonna make you do whatever I say. And men, out of fear of that, have had to succumb to that. And that is, like I said, once again, it's bad leadership, but that's not the role that the Lord made it. He didn't make that responsibility yours, and we wonder why things get all out of whack. But yeah, go ahead. Where we at? 1 Timothy and
Verse 5, verse 25.
yeah, verse 5 and 8.
Oh, sorry.
And where we at? We at 8:16, so I'm still watching it.
Okay. This is book of 1 Timothy chapter 5 and verse 8.
Mm-hmm.
But if any provide not for his own, and especially for those of his own house,
Mm-hmm.
he has denied the faith and is worse than an infidel.
Right. Now, Christians love using this because they make this all about money. But that word provision or providing is not about money. Because you can have a household. We may live here. I may have just got out of prison. You got 3 master's degrees. You can help support this household and pay the bills. And that doesn't mean I shouldn't be in charge or guiding you and providing you. My provision, my provider is the knowledge of this Bible, knowledge of what's right according to the Lord. That's the guidance that a man's authority that can never be taken away. And we're going to get that precept, usurp authority. Let's get that one next. But that's why the Lord has done this, is that a father can guide a family and guide the children in a way and discipline that's not as emotional as a woman may get. And it's the same way. That's why we call God the Father. It's because that same strictness and sternness that I may go hard on this boy a little bit more than you think it needs be, but also I have a certain mercy and kindness with him as well, that once you have swung the pendulum so hard, that woman may, how I want to say it, make a boy become effeminate by disciplining him out of emotions instead of out of logic. And like I said, there are men that do these things as well. Is that you or is that me? Let's see. Where my keys at? Too? The water. I got my keys too. But yeah, that's not me. But yeah, just checking. See out there. But you know, a lot of like I said, there are men that do that as well, man. I've seen men beat their children so bad that you can make a son become effeminate because you are abusing him and not building strength up into him and teaching him. And so those things, man, are important. And like I said, once again, we use this wisdom of this book on how to guide and lead our people. Let's see. So lock it. We're almost done. We're going to close out pretty soon. What do we got? 5 and 8. I wanted another one. Checking. Let's go. All right. Next, I'm gonna pull out this verse right here. Is usurp authority. I think it's Ephesians 5 and 22. Let me just look it up real quick. First Timothy chapter 2 and verse 12. Let's go to that. Still First Timothy chapter 2 and verse 12. But I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence. What does this mean? This is not saying that if you have a wife and she is knowledgeable in real estate, and she cannot teach you about real estate. If she's knowledgeable about how to do taxes and how to do this is talking merely and specifically about the Bible. In this order, this structure, men are the teachers of the Bible. Men are the ones that are under the authority of the Lord, and that just keeps the balance in maintaining his leadership of our nation and people. And we have always been a people of soldiers. I'm gonna have y'all bring it back one more time, but I'm just breaking it down for everybody online as well, keeping it going. That Matter of fact, yeah, let me grab this one real quick. It's gonna be probably we may have one or two more precepts and we'll let everybody go. Give me 1 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 12. Let's see.
This is the book of 1 Timothy, chapter 2, and verse 12.
Right,
But I suffered not a woman to teach,
right.
nor to usurp authority over the man.
Right. So what does this mean? People think that, okay, let's say you have a wife, she knows how to do real estate. She went to school to learn how to do real estate. Can she teach her husband about real estate? Yes. If she knows how to do taxes and she has information about the stock market, whatever it is, business, sewing, anything, a woman can teach a man about those things. That's not what this is saying. This is strictly talking about teaching the Bible and being in the role of a leader in the church. That was not supposed to be so. And the main reason I say we are always a warrior culture, a culture of soldiers. If you want to raise up a strong soldier as a man to be the leader of the people, who is going to have to go out and make that ultimate sacrifice of potentially giving their life? You don't want to raise a son that's going to be a coward and is not prepared to fight and protect his mother,
Right.
his sisters, his brothers, his daughters, his cousins. So you have to put him in the forefront of leadership, because anything else is going to have to make that woman make that decision. And that's just not our culture. We didn't come from that. We see that so much in today's society where they want to, it's like it does. Some of these cats, man, growing up, they like, man, somebody breaking the house, they might play rock, paper, scissors. Who's going to go to the door? You know what I'm saying? It's like, you go handle it. It's like that is not right. You know what I mean? And what sister is going to be mad with a brother that's there knowing he will give his life for you? It's the same way Christ gave his life for us. Go ahead.
Sir, it's bringing to my mind, I'm going to paraphrase the scripture, but
Mhm.
Pretty much a woman that is taking care of a man,
Mm-hmm.
how it changes her character and the negative.
Got it. What she says she is maintaining
Come on,
her husband.
She's maintaining her husband.
Right. And that's interesting. Like you said, that's the key thing. The women that try to dominate their men will have him do whatever that they want her to do. Don't respect him.
Oh, God.
You understand? They're like, man, he's weak. They'll take advantage of it, but in their mind, they're like, he's weak. And that's the confusion. Brothers like, man, but the Bible talks about that. It's like if you submit to her, she's not going to respect that. And that is, how can I say that? I was watching something last night. It was a woman. She was just like, if you got up every morning and you just did everything, eventually a woman's going to be numb to that and not really care about the sacrifice that you're giving. It just doesn't mean anything. And so, man, I'd have to watch that again. But I can explain it from what I know in life. It's like we being soldiers, you know, you have to have boundaries. You know what I mean? And the way I always explain, I think not as I was cracking up about that before, but I feel like the Bible days was like jail with women in it and men together. You know what I'm saying? Why am I saying that? It's like, you know what I mean? No rules and people going around and they raping, but they got women. You know what I'm saying? It's like if you had a bunch of weak men and you have an enemy gang of people that's coming, they are going to take that woman from you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? These nations, these heathens, they don't give a damn. They are violent and rapists. You know what I'm saying? Like we hear about these stories from these other nations. You don't know how evil the world really is because we live in a shell and we're domesticated in society. But you take away the rules of police and the law, you will find out how evil these Chinese men are, these Arabs men, these regular Black and Latino men are. You will see who they really are. And in order to survive in these situations, you need brotherhood to have your back. So now in the Bible days, if you have a man that is not going to stand for something, it's like how they say, oh, he took your cookies, they eating your cornbread in the movie Life. Like this dude is coming bullying your man. Then what does that mean? That woman has no safety. You know what I'm saying? What are you going to do? You can't protect yourself. So he's going to take everything from you. He might as well take me as well. So having a man that stands on 10 toes, that's standing on business, that woman respects it because you have integrity. And that's why being an Israelite historically was the best men to be with on earth, because we don't eat pork.
Right.
You understand? You're not going to make me eat pork.
Right.
We don't steal. We don't kill. We don't sell drugs. We don't get high. We found ways to control ourselves and resist our flesh, and we do things in order that we seen niggas die for eating pork. We like, man, these brothers ain't eating pork. They standing on that business. So you be goddamn if you come over here thinking you about to take my cookies or you about to take my cornbread. We Israelites, we don't go for that. So that woman, she may not like that you are not obeying her, but she's respecting it because she like, this brother stands for something. And if I can't finesse him and get him do what I want to do and manipulate him, then I know that these other men can't do that as well. And I'm with a strong man. And so that's the things, those are the things that we work with when you come into the truth. Because it's not something that we've been taught naturally. We men, you know what I'm saying, come out of the world being emotional. Some men have, been abusive, done other things. You have to train yourself and learn how to become better. I couldn't stop smoking weed. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had to train myself to get stronger to stop doing that. I had to train myself to stop being emotional and needing these things as a crutch to get through life. And so that discipline is what makes us better. And that's the same thing. Women learn how to grow and become stronger and say, damn, I don't necessarily want to do what my husband was telling me today, but for the Lord and the forgiveness and the mercy of Christ, I'm going to be a better person and do this and put positive into this relationship. Like, and that's the key too. This is the last thing I'll leave. I'll let you go ahead and answer. Let me ask you a question or say a comment. General Muhammad said one thing that was heavy. He said, the key to making a relationship work, for one, is softening your heart. You're going to get mad at her. You're going to have to forgive. She's going to make you mad. She's going to make you mad again. You're going to have to forgive her. And you're going to make her mad. She's going to have to forgive you. If y'all can get to the point and say that we are going to be together, we're not going anywhere, it's going to be a whole lot easier to do the next 10, 15, 20 years together if we stop fighting over petty things and just let it go. I'd rather be together than be right. You have to find that sometimes. You did this, you did that. Oh, we're going to argue because I was right and go back and forth. Always just be, all right, it is what it is. I'd rather have this peace than to just be right all the time. Now, there's some things you got to draw the line on. I'm right about celebrating Christmas. We can't do that. I'm not celebrating Christmas because you nagging me about that. We're going to go to war over that. Right. I'm not going to go to do the birthday celebration. We're not doing Valentine's Day this year. I'm going to go to war for that because you're asking me to go against my God. Right. But we have an argument about should we eat pizza or tacos? We getting tacos. You know what I'm saying? If it's that serious, you arguing because I didn't take the trash out, man, you know what? I'm positive working on being better. Now, I'm going to be better. Now, don't disrespect me. Don't put your hands. Don't do none of that. This is a hard line. You know what I mean? I'm not going to hit you. You don't hit me. That's a balance. But if it's because the AC's on and it's cold, let me have some humility. Whoever. Sometimes she's going to have to let you be right. Sometimes you got to let her be right. That's the balance. Let's figure out we're not going anywhere. We got another 50 years. We can make it a lot smoother if we can be kind to each other instead of bickering like a bunch of alley cats. You know what I'm saying? And that's 1 Corinthians. So you got something up?
No.
Oh, yeah, okay. Let's see. We had 8:30. last two precepts. What's some good ones, man? Give me Matthew 5. I think it's or Matthew. Is it Matthew? Hold on, might be 19. Yeah, Matthew 19. Select it. Let's do this one, and I got one more. We'll go back to 1 Corinthians, and this is the Go ahead. You got a question or comment? Go ahead, please.
So, sir, pretty much what you were just saying, the fact that General Hyman was teaching, was just saying, it's like, don't even let respect come into the question of the relationship, because once you start looking for respect, you're always going to be looking for the disrespect. And he said, might as well rather than just be kind to one another.
Right.
Be kind to your wife, be kind to your husband.
Right.
And at that point, you won't be a tyrant, and you won't be having to be looking for the disrespect that they, or that you believe that they give you.
Right. Damn right. And that's, yeah, like you said, is and what the general said so heavy is that when you say, oh, you disrespected me, when you say that in the streets, the only way to get your respect back is to disrespect them. And so that's what comes into our relationships, where you feel disrespected and now you have to disrespect her, or she has to disrespect you, vice versa, as opposed to saying you're not being kind to me right now. And you focus on how I can be more kind. If you keep focusing on how you can be more kind, and they focus on how they can be more kind, then it'll be a whole lot more positive moving forward. You know, yep. And this is one of the key verses that goes with that. So that was a good point you made right there. Let's go. We're gonna, for time's sake, let's go through this quickly. The Sadducees or the Pharisees came to Christ, and they asked him in verse 3, is it lawful for a man to put away his wife for every cause? Read verse 4.
Book of Matthew, chapter 19 and verse 4. And he answered and said unto them, have ye not read that he which made them at the beginning made them male and female?
Right, and this is cold. Like when you start reading Christ and looking at it like a battle and like a, you know, cats going to war, because the Pharisees were trying to really get him killed. This is just not like we think about cabinets. Oh, I never heard this in the school. Christ is so cold. The way we look at Captain Zaryak when he battles in the basement, we saw about that the other day. With Nadazar, I got to tell the brother that. You know what I'm saying? Imagine if Captain Zaryak's battles was now life and death. It's a different monster. You know what I'm saying? That's a different, like, if he loses today, they're going to kill Cap. That's what Christ is dealing with. These battles, for him to win them, is showing you how he maneuvered in such a way that they asked him a question. They said, is it lawful for a man to put a wife away for every cause? He answered and said unto them, have ye not read? Read that part again. Have ye what?
Have ye not read that he which made them at the beginning made them male and female?
He did not answer that question. He didn't go yes or no. He made a stay. He asked them a question. Haven't you read that? Don't you know that? Don't he put it back on them? So he shows you how to debate. This is where we learn these skills from, is from Christ and how he battled people, because he was fighting for his life. And you make one wrong step, it ain't gonna go the way you think. It ain't gonna be like, oh, Sarnetta came out and was like, Cap got destroyed in the Kemet community. They're like, nah, we're about to go to the back and stone you. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
So like I said, like that point you just, or the hypothetical you just brought up, made me think. So would you say that the Pharisees had an inkling of being humble to themselves? Because so like when I think about Christians, like even when they know they're wrong, they still try to say that they're right.
Why do you say humble? Because it's it is the opposite.
Because I say humble because they accepted that Christ was saying the truth.
No, that's not what's going on here. The reason why, maybe we'll go up a little bit, and if you got to go out, we're gonna get out here. I'm trying to get you out here ASAP. It's 8:35. You know what I'm saying? You'll call it. We clip it when we done. You know what I'm saying? I'll talk forever. But the Pharisees, go to verse 3.
Verse 3.
Right.
The Pharisees also came unto him.
Right.
Tempting him.
Doing what?
Tempting him.
Right.
And saying unto him, is it lawful for a man to put away his wife for every cause?
Right. For time's sake, They're tempting him and asking this because they knew Christ told you not supposed to divorce your wife. But they know in the law, Moses said you can divorce your wife. So they're trying to trap him and get him to say something unlawful, so then they have action to putting him to death. To say that Christ is teaching against the law. And that's why we say that they reversed it and became evil with the law. It's like he's saying, don't leave your wife. And they're like, nigga, you deserve to die. That's crazy. It's like when we teach sex is marriage, they're like, we're a bunch of evil niggas that are trying to take advantage of women. When we're saying, nigga, I have a daughter, I'm like, man, any person that sleeps with her needs to value her like a princess and a child of God. And you can't just use her and throw her away like you would this goddamn bottle of water. And you saying I'm evil for that because she doesn't have a piece of paper to represent your marriage? I don't give a damn about that paper. You lay with my daughter, y'all got to stay together. You got to make this work. Now, with that being said, she needs to be wise and not go and sleep with any man and come back like, Dad, I met Dante at the club and now he beating my ass. Well, what the hell? You should know how important it is. That's not a light decision. You shouldn't just go and meet men and sleep with them. Of course, you're going to get a bad roll of the dice because you didn't value yourself. You a princess. You don't just give your body to anybody. You're not, like I said, plastic bottle. You a diamond. Those are rare. Those are unique. You have value. See value in yourself. See value in your body. See value in the children that you're going to produce when you lay with this man. Because you're not only dealing with just him. When you have children, my great aunt just passed away a couple of weeks ago. And I'm reading the obituary. It says she has 16 grandchildren. And then you know how many great-grandchildren she had? 17. I didn't even know. I'm like, God damn. It multiplies so quickly when you go from having 5 children, each of them have 3, you get to 15 grandchildren. But if those 15 grandchildren just have 1 kid, you multiplied another 15. So that's 30 plus the 5, that's 35 people came from this one woman that fast. Now imagine all those 17 great-grandchildren have 2. Now you got 36 plus the other 35 plus now you're talking about 70 people. So you telling me that you can just go meet some dude at the club, have kids with him, and you come back in 100 years and it's 500 of them running around? You didn't have no plan for that. You just took that. That was like a light decision. We evil for saying you should take this seriously. You see the result of our community. People just going to the club, all this baby mama drama and Maury and the you know what I'm saying, the child support. All this drama has come from us not looking at sex as so important. You saying it's not marriage, but that child is the marriage. Is one body that come from y'all 2 bodies. You're stuck together for the rest of human history as long as they keep having children. But you not together because you don't got a piece of paper. That is foolishness. It's not evil for us to teach it. It's evil for you to go against that. You understand? But go ahead. Sloppy.
So I'm thinking that was a wonderful breakdown for that. The sloppy.
Most High Christ.
My question was more towards on how, like, I'm just thinking about Christians nowadays. Even when they know that they're incorrect and they can be shown that they're incorrect,
right?
They'll die on that hill. And if it were life and death, they would kill us.
Well, the Pharisees, if I'm hearing you right, you tell me if I'm wrong. The Pharisees didn't think they were wrong.
So if they didn't think they were wrong, why did they allow Christ to live?
Because they couldn't prove him wrong. So you're saying why did they didn't? They killed him.
Well,
eventually. You know what I mean?
Okay. Times before that, like, they would come to Christ with questions to try and trap him to saying something.
They could never get him on record wrong. So they had to come at him in the nighttime and take him up and give him a kangaroo court, as they said, and do it illegally and unlawfully and not in front of the people and prosecute him and take him to the Romans and do all that type of trickery because they couldn't really prove him wrong. So, I mean, that's not worse than the Christians. I don't know. That's the same spirit. I mean, that's what they would do.
So, like, my thing is, like, but they didn't go out, like, because when they accused him of saying that he said he was the son of God, like he was God.
Right.
And then Christ came back and said, doesn't the word, and does the Old Testament say that we are gods, and you are gods?
Right.
I can see the hubris in a Christian where even when you show them in the Bible something that's correct, they won't let it go.
I mean, I think we're at the same thing. The Pharisees did not let it go when he told them everything.
So they were just patient with it.
Yeah, they couldn't do it because once again, the Bible was like prison without nigga guards and with women and children. It's like, nigga, if we kill him, he might start a riot. He just had 5,000 people with him. They had to be subtle with their evilness too, because he did have people following him. So it's like a Christian would stand on their beliefs and keep going back, but they literally are not at that point where they're getting people killed right now. They literally were getting people killed during Christ's time. So they had to do it in an orderly fashion in some way. That's why they had the Sanhedrin. They brought him before this trial and this, you know what I'm saying? Like, they couldn't just kill people without the Romans' authority too. Because if you start killing people, the Romans will kill you. It's like the mafia. You know how the mafia tells you, like, this is our area. We control this area. You can't rob nobody in our hood. We're the ones that do the robbing. You know what I mean? You're gonna kill a nigga without me telling you can kill a nigga. I'm the godfather of this area. Like, they couldn't just kill him without going through the proper channels. So what I'm saying is I get what you're saying, but the Pharisees were about that life. They took it to clearly they went and got Christ killed. So if that's not worse than the Christian, it's the same spirit. I would say it's the same spirit. And they did see it through. They just took their time, because if they just went and killed him in the wrong way and he had all these people following him too, they could have started a riot and got themselves killed. And you know what I mean? To see how Peter was when they came for him. It's like if he had enough men with him, that's why they went at nighttime. They didn't want to do it in the daytime with these crowds. It's like seeing a righteous brother. I'm not going to use that example. But if you just think of a righteous man that people love and care about, and then you come and arrest him in front of everybody, the crowd will turn on you and fight and start a riot. Well, go ahead. If I'm not being clear.
So you're being clear, but with the shorter version of that is just politics.
I'll take that. I mean, it was politics. Yeah, they were politicking. They had to make a move on him, but they had to do it at the right time. But they definitely saw it through. They did not give up just because he cut them. They didn't go home and be like, damn, he's right. We should love our wives and not divorce them. They're like, nigga, I hate this. You know what I'm saying? Even more. Like, it made you even more. They went to that point. Like, we, in modern times, I don't know. We haven't seen Christians. Muslims are Christians. They did kill Abba Bivens. But, you know what I mean? Like, it's rare and few far between where we see them go to the point to actually start killing us nowadays. Yeah. If you disagree with them,
they don't like what they hear, they just gonna kill you.
Yeah.
Just straight up.
You're saying, why did they do it that quickly?
Or why didn't they?
Yeah, why didn't? That's what I'm saying. Why didn't they do it immediately? Yeah, because they had to cover their bases too. Because there was a lot of things that was structured. Go ahead. It was, yeah. It's just like in prison. They got to.
Mostly Christian, right? They claim to be mostly Christian.
Who's that?
The Klan.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they doing
Oh,
it.
true. Okay, I'm thinking about Black Christians. Yeah, because I mean, the Christians is definitely killing.
Right.
If you want to put it in that way, historically, Christians are the worst murdering. You know what I mean? So yeah, they're definitely the same spirit. But the only reason why is because those are white Christians. These are Pharisees was Israelite Christians. So we don't have a record of too many Black Christians killing in modern. That's why I kind of missed that point. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. It's the same thing that they would now. That's heavy too. These people that Captain Czar be battling, if they could, they would kill him. But they're scared of the FBI and the CIA that they don't kill him. But TD Jakes, his money is getting messed up. If he can make a way to set it up and make a deal with CIA and COINTELPRO to shut this stuff down, then if we take any more of their money and give any more of their members out of their church, they are plotting to kill us. Yeah, I will take that for sure. So it is no different. Yeah, that updates it. It's like the CIA, they're not gonna let anybody. America is the only one that has authority to arrest you and kill you. And if you usurp that authority, then they're gonna kill you.
Right.
So TD Jakes and these bosses or whatever, they can rise to a certain level, but the reason why they take a lot of these gangs and the Italian mafia is down is because they're killing people. And I'm not gonna give you all the information, but I heard some from the streets. People I might know, they like, you sell all the dope you want in the world. They know it. You got the pad. You want to sell heroin, you want to sell coke, powder. They really not tripping. But once you start killing people, then the government cracks down on you because you're using violence, and that violence is a threat to their authority. Because if BMF and this gang or the Crips can control a neighborhood through the force of violence, now they are the police, and people are going to fear them and not the government, and they're the ones that are really the real government.
Right.
That's what's happening in Haiti and all these other countries. That doesn't matter who is sitting in the White House. If these gangs are the ones that are controlling violence, then they're in charge of that country. And so that's why America has to have a monopoly on violence to be an authority. And the Romans had to have that authority to be in charge of them, so they just couldn't do it, on their own. Makes sense? But yeah, let's go. See, this is your own fault. You know what I'm saying? You gotta go to work. Let's run to this one. We out. Let's get up out of here. All right. Where we at? So verse 4. Mhm.
Verse 5.
Yeah, we can go to verse 5. We already read 4.
It's book of Matthew chapter 19 and verse 5. And said, for this cause shall a man leave father and
Right.
mother, and shall cleave to his wife.
Mm-hmm.
They twain shall be one flesh.
Right, we read that already. So he's just quoting what happened already. The two of them will become one flesh, right? Keep going.
Verse 6. Wherefore they are no more twain, but one flesh. What therefore God hath joined together, let not man put asunder.
Right, this is a holy relationship for men and women to come together. That is something that's valuable. Like I said, I just look at my daughters like this is a father does not want any man to lay with his daughter. But if it's gonna be a man, let it be one man and let that be it. And let y'all be together. Like y'all together, I'm gonna approve of that. This is a righteous brother. That's it. I can't take, oh, she was with this cat and that. Oh man, come on, you trying to kill me. That's how the Lord looks at his children. Like, what are y'all doing out here? You know what I'm saying? The Lord put y'all together. Don't let no man come and tell you you're gonna get divorced. Keep going.
Mm-hmm. Verse 7. They say unto him, why did Moses then command to give a writing of divorcement and to put her away?
They tried to cut him. They like, look, the law says a man can divorce his wife and get rid of her. Why did he allow that to happen? Keep going. Mm-hmm.
Verse 8.
Mm-hmm.
He saith unto them, Moses, because of the hardness of your hearts, suffered you to put away your wives.
Right, the hardness of their hearts. Them coming out of slavery and captivity, they had a hardened heart. They could not forgive each other. You violent. You might be in the wilderness and beat your wife half to death because she said something that you didn't like. And a wife might stab her husband in the middle of the night in the chest because he's done something she doesn't like. Like that literally is what happened in our slavery and our captivity. They say outside of slavery that the black marriages was like 80, 90%. But you didn't go in and look inside of those homes. This man is coming out of captivity, getting beat, getting, you know what I'm saying, SA, like you said, buck broken. And now he don't know how to process none of this trauma he done been through. He don't know his mom. He done got separated from his dad. He didn't see his brother get sold. He about to get off that slave plantation and go home and be like, hey, honey, how you doing? And then he got to go to work and some man still telling him you about to lose your job. And I need your money, nigga. Get back on the side of the road, nigga. You know what I'm saying? The old white man was racist and destroying these brothers. These brothers couldn't do nothing to fight the oppression. So they go home, they get drunk, and she say, you ain't take out you bitch. She beating her down. And she going through all this trauma, can't trust men, been abused, been sexually assaulted the same way. She got angry. She now, nigga, you ain't nothing, you black, dirty mother. You know what I'm saying? It was horrible relationships after slavery. It was a lot of violence, molestation, abuse, physical abuse, addiction. That's us coming out of Egypt. Moses like, hey, so we can make it and y'all don't sit here and be literally boxing. We can see it on Facebook. I saw a couple other day, they were throwing hands. This ain't they if they call the police, they probably take the man to jail, but they were catching the fade. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what they were doing coming out of Egypt. It's like, bruh, sis, if this is gonna stop y'all from killing each other, you can divorce her. That's why, because the hardness of your heart. You had no forgiveness, you had no mercy. If anything went wrong, you guys are gonna be trying to murder each other. You can get a divorcement, but that's not what the Lord wanted. That's not how it should be. Keep going. Love
Because of the hardness of your hearts, suffered you to put away your wives.
Right. Suffer means he didn't want it. He's dealing with it. This is not what I want, but I'm going to suffer you. I'm going to let this happen. Right. Keep going.
But from the beginning, it was not so.
Right.
Verse 9. And I say unto you, whosoever shall put away his wife, except it be for fornication, and shall marry another, committeth adultery.
Right.
And whoso marrieth her which is put away, doth commit adultery.
Right. So he is up in the law and making it more responsible, more accountable, and saying that we got to stay together. This is a serious thing. And unless she goes and sleeps with another man because now she's entered a new marriage, you lay with him. That is what adultery is. Now you are his wife, and I can't sleep with you because you become his wife. That marriage has been dissolved. You know what I'm saying? Now I'll say this. Commander Yohana did say that. He was like, one brother asked a question in class one time. He was just like, what if you was in the world and your woman, both of y'all was in the world? And he was like, man, y'all had an open relationship. You know, cats be doing that where they say, you know, I can go mess with different bros. You go just whatever I don't want to know about it, you don't know about it, we be together. He was like, now if y'all came into the truth and both of y'all changed your life around, y'all born again, that is done away with. Y'all marriage is valid. Y'all can move forward with that. Well, y'all both got to come in and change their life. But some people have done that. That's the ways of the world, man. These are the cultures that we learn from our oppressor, man. But that's not how it's supposed to be. We can move forward from that. But after we had this knowledge and learn this, that is the thing that separates them. So Christ is trying to hold our families together, but the key to that is softening our heart. And so that's the moral of the story. Good leadership is kindness, careness, and correction, though. It's not being weak. You do have to have some strength. You may have to have a hard correction, like, nah, we're not doing that. Sit down, be quiet, close your goddamn mouth. You know what I'm saying? But your authority has to come from that righteousness as well. And you know what I mean? And also being in the UPK, we have the same thing. That's why we get brothers in all black. You as a trooper, you can't teach. Come up in here, sit down, learn, shut your mouth. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's check-ins, there's rules and orders, it's correction. I don't do whatever I want to do. You know what I'm saying? I got men that tell me what to do. And I say, count out of one kind, and I obey them. But I don't just do it because I'm a weak man. It's because I'm actually stronger. Because I see the bigger picture. I see that we are going to be better together, and that no one should be just doing whatever the hell they want to. That's another one that you're going to hear. And I've heard it the same way. My wife, I'm grown. Ain't nobody tell me what I'm grown. What does that even mean? What point do you get to where you don't listen to anybody? That's not how the world works. You so grown, but you listen to your boss. Don't make sense. I'm grown, but I have to learn from people that are wiser than me and follow their leadership. And that is what it should be. It should flow from the top down. Our leader learns from the Lord, from the Bible, from Christ. Christ learned from the Lord. It flows down to us. We carry ourselves how our King is, Christ, and we teach the men after us how to follow and do those things in decency and order. And the women do that. They teach their children. It's better for everybody. We move as a nation. We're not out of order. we got structure, and that gives us power. And that's why brotherhood is a weapon, sisterhood is a weapon. So like anything else? 1 Corinthians 13, we're not pulling it, but yeah, that's a good one, I believe. Or is it? I think 1 Corinthians 13, that famous verses you'll see at the end of people's obituary. Talk about love is kind, or charity is kind. Charity is suffering. Like I said, we don't got to pull it out, but that's the one I was going to pull. That's another key to marriage as well. That one of the heaviest things I heard General Muhammad say as well is that love is pain, is suffering. True love is suffering. Right? If I love my kids, it's not all fun and joy every time. It's suffering for me to get up in the middle of the night when they're crying. It's suffering me to change their diapers. It's suffering for me to worry about them getting sick or gotta go to the doctor or all those things is pain and suffering. But that's true love because I'm losing. True love is the hardest thing to give and it's the most beautiful thing to receive. That's what General Muhammad said. I was like, damn, I didn't understand it at first. Meaning it's hard for me to love this person and lose and suffer and sacrifice. But it's beautiful when they're able to lose and suffer and sacrifice for me. And that, if you can put those two together, it's an amazing thing right there. Where it's like, you got your issues, you going to do this, you want to that. You know what? Even after all that, I'm still going to be here for you. I'm not going nowhere. And if your partner can say the same thing, you got your issues, you're going to do this and do that. I know you're working on this and that. I'm still going to be there for you. That's when you're receiving love. And that's the hard part of giving. So that's what Corinthians is talking about. But yeah, let's go ahead and close this class out. We went over time. I'm going to have Commend Johanna call me. What time say we just going to close it? I'm going to salute. Well, yeah, just go quick salute.
Men of Israel, Elijah, which means the standard of Israel. In the Hebrew, it's Elijah. Men of Israel, we're going to give a courtesy salute to the teacher. Men of Israel, Elijah Shabbat. Ahmad, Barak, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Barakatah.
Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Barakatah.
Men of Israel, Elijah Matah. Men of Israel,
I'm going to correct right there. It's Yad Yom. Yeah. So just remember, Yad Karab. His hands, Yad Yom. You have multiple hands down.
Men of Israel, Sar, we're going to turn and face the sisters. Men of Israel, we're going to give a courtesy salute to the sisters in school. Men of Israel, Ahmad Shabbat. Ahmad, Barak, Yahweh
Hashem Yahushua.
Men of Israel, Yahweh Matah, dismissed.
All right, man.